I really enjoy eating out, but I've noticed how quickly those bills can add up. That's why in today's video, I want to share with you 12 practical tips that have helped me cut my eating out costs in half. And stick around till the end because I'll share one tip that has saved me the most money. So let's start. Most people use their debit or credit cards to pay at restaurants. I do all the time. But since I learned about this first money-saving hack, I made sure that I always had some cash on hand as well. Tip number 1 is to eat at restaurants with cash discounts and save anywhere from 5 to 10%. Some Korean and Chinese restaurants offer cash discounts of 5 to 10%. Sometimes it's advertised at the cashier, but oftentimes you'll need to ask if they offer it. Say your original bill was $40 plus HST and a 15% tip, that's $51.20. If you get a 10% cash discount, it will cost you $46 instead. Thinking of how taxes and tips inflate the bill by almost 30% can make us not want to go out at all. So why not try and skip tips, or at least pay way less in tips by eating at food courts? And that includes the more plain and boring food courts like this, but also the fancier food courts. In Toronto, we have the food court at CF Sherway Mall in the west, or Italy in downtown Yorkville. It's a self-service establishment, more expensive than regular food courts, but when you grab a delicious slice of pizza there, it's still way cheaper than a full-service restaurant. Not only will you save 30 to 50% on food, but you'll also save on tips, as the expectation here is much more tips are appreciated, but you'll not be questioned if you don't tip or just tip 5%. With the next tip, I saved at least $200 last year. Once a month or so, we order food on Uber Eats, and after adding up all the service fees, it can get super expensive. That's why I make it a point to look for buy one get one offers. There are actually a ton of them on Uber Eats, everything from burgers to sushi. And for us as a couple, it's perfect. But even if you're single, you can order buy one get one, eat one portion and save the other for dinner or the next day. And this also works for takeout. Once every few months, I indulge in these grass-fed A&W burgers, and oftentimes they have buy one get one offers for their burgers as well. I order them through Uber app to get the offer and then just walk 10 minutes to grab them myself. With the next tip, you can save anywhere from 20 to 50% dining in. Personally, my favorite time to eat out is dinner. That's also when it's most expensive. But if you're open to eating off-peak hours and eat out during happy hours, you can eat for less. Once you look up happy hour, you'll find tons of deals. And yes, that does mean that you'll have to do an early dinner at 5 or so and close before 6 p.m. But try it out, it can be just as fun. And if you're trying to lose some pounds, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and try out intermittent fasting at the same time. Another fun way to save money eating out is to use credit card points to eat for free. For example, if you have a Scotiabank credit card, not sponsored by them by the way, and earn Scene points, you can redeem 500 points, that's a spending of $250, for $5 at over 700 restaurants. Make sure you check your credit card. You might already have some points there waiting to be used for dining. By the way, tell me in the comments if you've ever made this mistake. A few weeks ago, we walked into our favorite restaurant super hungry. We ordered 2 appetizers and more food that we would normally not order. One of the most dangerous things finance-wise is to routinely walk into a restaurant at 8 p.m. on an empty stomach. It's so easy to just give in and order 10 things on the menu. So to avoid overspending, make it a habit to snack before eating out. Some fruit and a handful of nuts can go a long way. And with a calm tummy, you'll stay sane and rational when picking food from the menu. You'll order less food and potentially save 20 to 30% of your bill. Now say you've succeeded and saved $100 each month. You want to make sure that you don't spend that on other things, but invest that money instead. If you're looking for an investment platform with no trading fees, you can check out the one I use, Wealthsimple. There's a referral link in the descriptions, and if you open an account with them and fund it, both you and I will get a bonus of $25 each. The next tip is especially useful for couples and good friends, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. We are used to thinking that when we eat out, each person has to order their own main course and their own appetizer. And sure, at fine dining establishments, that is an expectation. But at more laid-back places, you have much more flexibility as to what and how much you order. And you can cut at least 30% of your bill just by sharing portions. Now, I'm not telling you to go hungry, but to actively look for places that offer huge portions. Toronto, one of my favorite places places to go with my husband is Souvlaki Hut. They have these huge Greek meat platters that come with salad, potatoes, rice, and bread. We order just one portion, get an extra plate and cutlery, and end up super full. The next tip is something most people already do, but I think is not used strategically enough. You know, when you've ordered a bunch of food at the restaurant and midway you realize, ooh, we ordered too much. But oftentimes people still try to finish everything instead of realizing that this is a great opportunity to turn the excess food into another meal and prevent a bloated and uncomfortable stomach. So don't shy away from taking home leftovers for your next meal. Even if it is just a small portion of meat and veggies, you can easily turn that into a full meal by cooking your own rice at home. Another thing we do that has saved us thousands in the past years is that we don't buy drinks at restaurants, especially alcohol. Sure, we'll buy wine for special occasions like birthdays and anniversaries, but for our regular eating out, we're happy with plain old water. Everyone knows that the price of one drink, especially alcohol and even non-alcoholic mocktails, can easily make up 30% of your entire bill. So unless you're going out specifically for the purpose of drinking or celebrating, just skip buying drinks altogether. And I'm sure you've also been in this situation. You know you've already overspent on eating out this month, but you feel like you really want to eat out. I get sick of my cooking after a while, believe me. My solution to this is that it doesn't always have to be lunch or dinner. To save on eating out, go out for snacks instead. There are many options, especially in big cities like Toronto. Think of a portion of karaage chicken, a slice of pizza, or a smoked salmon bagel. Treat yourself to a snack at your favorite place during off-peak hours, and then cook a simple dinner at home to round it off. You'll spend $15 instead of $25 for a full meal and still get the enjoyment of eating out. The next tip is especially useful for those of you who work at the office and regularly eat out or take out for lunch. Even though it's just a salad or a sandwich, $15 or so each day adds up to over $300 a month. You can easily save at least half of that by meal prepping for work. And I know it sounds complicated, but hear me out. Say you go to the office on 5 days of the week. Meal prep for at least 3 days or better 4 of those days. It's not as difficult as it sounds. My go-to dishes are chili soup and lentil soup, which you can easily freeze in containers and pop in your bag. Add a slice of bread and I'm sure it will keep you full. It will take about 1 to 2 hours of cooking on a Saturday or Sunday, but then you're set for the week. Now let's talk about the tip that will save you the most dollars by far, which is to make eating out rules. When you don't set rules in advance, every time you're confronted with the option to eat out, you'll make a spontaneous decision whether or not to go for it, and when you limit yourself, it feels like depriving yourself of it. But when you set up clear rules on eating out in advance, it just becomes more intentional. This is what you can do to save money. Say your eating out budget is $160 per month. To set up eating out rules, roughly translate that into how many times you'll eat out, take out, and buy coffee. Let's just say that's 1 meal per month at a medium-priced restaurant, 4 meals at a Chipotle kind of place, 2 takeouts, and 4 coffees. That prevents any indecision and spontaneous splurges. Now, if you want to hear my 15 tips for saving on groceries, watch this video next.